It's just y'all welcome in to another After Dark episode of the Dumb Marks podcast with your boys, the best four-man booth in the business. Back at it again with another pay-per-view special edition, breaking down all things WWE leading into Survivor Series on Sunday. Gentlemen, how we doing? Everybody good tonight?
Doing all right.
Ready rocking and rolling?
Welcome back to After Dark, Jason.
Yeah, Jason Taker has made his return back to the podcast. Nice to see you shut up for work. Of course, you know it's a WWE event, so Jason's alarms worked, and he actually showed up tonight.
Well, I got my nap in today.
Yeah. So, all right, man. We'll be running through the Survivor Series card, giving you our breakdown and predictions on who's going to win what matches. But before we do that, let's just touch base a little bit on what we just saw on SmackDown tonight, as well as anything from Monday Night Raw. Did either of these two shows for you this week do anything to draw interest for this pay-per-view on Sunday?
Didn't watch Raw, so who knows? And SmackDown, no, not at all.
I haven't watched either of the shows in a while, so I'll let those of you that actually would enjoy the product talk.
Jay?
The ending and the Charlotte Becky package.
The ending from SmackDown tonight?
Yeah.
Nothing on Monday night?
Nah, it was just a continuation of Biggie and Roman. That was it. It was just those two main storylines.
This has probably been one of the, I don't want to say lackluster, but least anticipated Survivor Series in a couple years.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they did anything as far as a build goes for it. We didn't have qualifying matches. Those teams were announced, and then we had sudden changes the last 2 weeks on Raw, and then SmackDown's team rounded out tonight with the men, with Sheamus picking up the win in the Fatal 4-Way with the help of Ridge Holland, and then we saw Toni Storm get added to the women's team announced online, and I guess the graphics department got cut due to budget cuts too, because they forgot to update the graphic on SmackDown to include Toni Storm's picture. So they really, given the week that was, and we'll touch on some of the release stuff after we break down the card to wrap up the show, but it just comes across as they do not care about this pay-per-view at all.
No.
I'll give them the pass last year, because I felt that way last year, that there wasn't a lot of build-up, but at least that was part of the whole pandemic stuff and doing the Thunderdome, so I'll give that one a pass. But yeah, this year they should have built it up better.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the whole brand supremacy thing. Meanwhile, majority of the team members on Raw and SmackDown for both men and women matches were on opposite brands for majority of the year. They move over 3 weeks later, and then they're all of a sudden supposed to wave the flag for that brand. And then, the whole, can they coexist as team members? And it's just like, come on, dude. We can't come up with a different story at this point in time. Like, do we have to continue with the...
They gave you a different one. The GMs both wanted to pick their best teams.
But that didn't even make sense, because you had Adam Pearce 2 weeks ago talking about Raw needs to win. They need to go 5-0. And then he's on tonight talking about SmackDown needs to win. I'm pulling for SmackDown. You guys got to get it together. So the freaking GMs are confused and don't know who to root for.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so it's like, what do you like? You don't even have consistency in your authority figures for who they want.
They just run the show, so there shouldn't even be brand supremacy for the GMs.
Yeah, there shouldn't be.
It's not like Pierce runs one and DeVille runs the other. It's just like they're there for both.
Yeah, I mean, to me, all this pay-per-view is going to do is just springboard storylines for each show. That's literally all it's going to do. You'll come out of this pay-per-view. You'll have feuds set up for both men and women. I thought SmackDown. I thought they threw away Shotzi and Sasha for no reason tonight. They're like, why are you hot-shotting that match? Whenever they're just going to continue to feud on after Survivor Series. So to me, it was pointless to just throw it on SmackDown tonight for no reason.
Shotzi will be released next month.
So, yeah, I mean, this pay-per-view is a one-match pay-per-view. As far as interest, story, anticipation, angst, whatever adjective you want to describe it, this pay-per-view is literally Charlotte versus Becky, and that's it. I can care less about any other match on this pay-per-view. So run the damn promo package, give them an hour, and let them go do what they do. Everybody else can just join the rest of the fans in the stands and watch them two go at it, and that should be Survivor Series.
This whole event is like one big exhibition. It's like Rocky 3, Thunder Lips versus Rocky. It doesn't matter.
I mean, it comes off like they don't care, so.
Yeah. If they don't care, why should the fans care?
Exactly.
Jay?
I mean, what are we doing today then? I've seen be the only one that's interested.
I can care less, and this from somebody that really enjoyed Survivor Series back in the day whenever it first started, and they've had ups and downs over the past, however many years, but the traditional Survivor Series matches I used to look forward to. I used to look forward to the teams, the pairings, whenever it was more traditional heels versus baby faces. Going back to the very beginnings of Survivor Series, the first couple where they had the true Ultimate Survivor, where the winners would go on to have a match at the end of the show, and whoever won that was, called the true Survivor. It added intrigue, it added interest, something that was different. And then for whatever reason, Vince has just soured on this show throughout the years to where, now Money in the Bank is being pushed more than Survivor Series as part of the Big Four. And this is almost, like Payback or Insurrection or any of the other pay-per-view named monthly themed shows that they put on. So somebody that enjoyed Survivor Series from the get-go, that's a little disheartening for me from that standpoint. But I can't get behind any of the traditional matches because it's all just fluff and no substance.
To me, I never cared for Survivor Series. I always hated the concept. But there was just like individual matches that got me interested. That was like there was the least of the Big Four for me.
Yeah.
Roman and Big E, so Big E attacks the Usos, the end of SmackDown, attacks the Usos, lays them out, comes out, and we get the stare down. Roman at the end of the rampway and Big E at the top of the rampway. And you get the shot of each of them individually looking at each other back and forth. And I'm like, I wish they didn't move E to Raw to have him be the Raw champ. Because, like I said, Roman's title reign being this run that it's on and the impact that it's been and the whole story and everything else, he's going to be the longest reigning Universal Champion or, WWE Champion of all time as far as consecutive days goes.
Universal Champion.
Universal. To have Big E take the belt from him, like that, I just instantly got that when I saw that face to face. When I'm like, oh, what an opportunity! Like, not saying Big E's not a star because Big E is a star, but to cement him as a made guy,
you wanted that moment.
I wanted that moment. Yeah, like that's where I wish it. Like that's where I was like, Like, I'm happy for Big E. I'm glad he got the belt. You know, I'm glad he's on Raw doing his thing and everything else. But man, like, that was the moment. And if WWE is all about creating moments, to me, I think they swung and missed on that moment.
I can see your take.
Yeah. It was something that could have wrote itself.
So we talked about that for a while, and it just wasn't done.
Yeah, and I'm gonna. Well, screw it. I'll throw this question out there to you guys now. Not to bring AEW up because obviously we're on a WWE prediction show, but the question is, like, for example, Becky and Charlotte have all this heat and animosity and back and forth. They've been on various interviews during the week, talking smack, whatever. Rick got involved with tweets. Becky was on Ariel Hawani's show, threw dirt all over Flair. Like, it's legit beef. Like Biggie Smalls said, what's beef? This is beef, right? Legit beef. However, in order to take it up a notch, like, you didn't get that face-to-face in the ring promo shooting back and forth. You got it one on SmackDown on Friday, then the one on Raw on Monday, where, like, you had Britt and Ruby in the ring back and forth, face-to-face in that moment. And it made it feel like it just made it so much bigger because it was their real time between the two individuals. Same with Roman and Big E. Roman's cutting a promo. Big E, returns cutting a promo. But you look at Kingston and Punk, real time, face to face, like made it that much more special, that much better. And to me, that's where WWE loses out on this whole brand split thing and doing a pay-per-view concept where it's roster versus roster, show versus show. You don't get that excitement or that hype because somebody's cutting a promo on Friday and then somebody's cutting a promo on Monday, and it misses. It doesn't help build it up like it should. Like, if we get Becky's promo and Charlotte's promo, instead of them doing one on Friday, one on Monday, and they're in the ring together for 10 minutes to start the show, and they go back and forth at it, giving everything that they said, like, think about how excited we are to talk about that. It'd be the same way that people talked about Brett and Ruby.
But with them, you didn't need it. You're looking forward to that match regardless. Them, you didn't need it.
I think you had the big moment in the ring a few weeks ago with the title swap when this all started. I think they couldn't top that, and that's why they didn't give you anything else.
I'm wondering if they didn't want the real heat to be in the ring, something like Shawn and Brett, something could go completely off script. But
it went off script with the belt. That's how we got to this point. The whole title exchange is where it went. The rails, the train went off the tracks during that because people went into business for themselves.
You over did like actual like fist fighting and stuff in the locker room and everything, like Shawn and Brett did.
Shawn and Brett had their issues backstage, but as soon as they went through that curtain, what did they do? They did what's best for professional. Right. And look at how much money that feud drew, right? To me, this is the money feud that you can draw all the way out to WrestleMania. You're giving it to me here on a pay-per-view that your company doesn't think is a big-time pay-per-view anymore for a Raw flag waving or SmackDown flag waving, supremacy rights. There's no titles on the line. There's no belts on the line. Like, you could make this so much more given the real life animosity. We talked about it on last week's show, right?
I think you just gave your own answer. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
You want to drag it out for months? If they hate each other?
Get it
over and be done.
Look, if you're going to Jerry World and you're trying to sell out 2 nights of 100,000 people, Becky and Charlotte need the main event one of those nights. So yeah, I think there is a way that they could have done it.
But I think this is kind of the first stage, if that's the way that they go. This is to get you hyped for it more. And then, like you said, this is no title on the line. The next time the titles are on the line, it means business for the title then. So you can have this match, do whatever you want to do. And then if that's the route that they're going.
So you'd have one of them winning the Rumble if you went that way.
I'd probably say Charlotte would drop the title. I could see Becky holding the title longer than Charlotte right now. Look how many times they've had Charlotte drop the title.
I don't know. To me, like I said, I just feel like there's opportunities that you to have more excitement for the show on Sunday if you're getting those face-to-face in the ring promos back and forth instead of one cutting one on one show, one cutting one on another show. And you're trying to build to the match by telling stories with Roman attacking the New Day, taking out Kofi, doing what he did to Woods. So now Big E shows up tonight. Like, let's not that they'll ever go
with Jason on it. I don't think that it was needed. You're looking forward to this one anyway, so.
To who? Roman and Big E?
No, to Becky and Charlotte. I didn't think that another confrontation was needed. It wouldn't sell me anymore.
All right, that's your take. I'll go with it. So you don't think that there's any? So take Charlotte and Becky out of the equation. The premise would remain the same, though. Do you think there's more of a benefit to have the individuals in the ring or cutting them on separate shows?
For this feud, that's all I'm giving is just for this feud.
Mm-hmm.
For maybe depending on who the other two would be, I could see the justification of needing that.
Well, look at Roman and Big E.
Yeah.
But with them,
are you more excited for Roman and Big E if they're in the ring face to face, cutting promos on each other than what they did for the match?
With them, yeah, because Big E's promo work still isn't like hitting me like it should.
As a true babyface champion, I would agree with that to this point. Yeah.
Big E's still an entertainer, not like delivering championship promos.
Yeah,
but he's never been in that situation.
Doing face to face, you'd get more of a feel off of that than having them cut separate promos each day.
But even with what they did to get to the match for them on Sunday, like my focus is more on Big E with Seth and with Kevin Owens than it is him and Roman.
Sure.
Which takes me out of the match that like they're going to tear the house down. Don't get me wrong. Like them two, I think are going to have a really good match together. But to me, the focus is more on, okay, well, yeah, you're having the match on Sunday, but it's really about Seth and Kevin Owens for Big E and Roman. We have no idea who's going to be lined up next for him based off of what they've done.
Why it takes you away from Big E, because you kind of figure Roman's going through with this one.
Right. So.
Yeah, but to me that speaks for the problem of the build-up and the storytelling for this pay-per-view more than anything, that if they're telling more of a story for the brand than they are for the actual match.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any other thoughts, concerns, questions, feelings
about
Festivus grievances? Anything before we break down the card from Raw and SmackDown? No, good. All right, let's get
touch as the matches go on.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into these matches here. What do we got? 7 matches on the card now?
7 matches now. So we'll go with the one that was kicked off, announced tonight. A 25-man dual brand battle royal in honor of The Rock. Because this is a thing now.
Well, hey.
So,
hey. 25 years for The Rock debuting at Survivor Series. It's no different than what they did with Taker. with Survivor Series for his debut.
They give you an Undertaker Battle Royal.
Are they hyping up The Rock to hopefully have him appear and kick off to him versus Roman at WrestleMania?
We'll see.
You didn't get the Battle Royal, but you got network content for months.
And that's what they're hyping up more than him returning is the network content. He'll be live via satellite or pre-taped via satellite.
Yeah, so this is a match that we can't even predict because we have no idea who's in.
Well, they posted a graphic on Twitter, so I'll read off the names pretty quickly. We got Shelton Benjamin.
Well, wait. You don't got to read all 25 names off. Okay. We don't got to do this. Just pick some of the names that you think has potential to win this. Shelton Benjamin has no chance, so we can skip over him. Like you can, you know what names to skip over.
We got Ricochet, we got Cesaro, we got AJ Styles, Otis. Paulo Cruz, Jinder Mahal.
I said names that are actually have a chance to win. You read off one name that has a chance to win, and it's AJ Styles.
If they all don't come out dressed like The Rock, I'd be surprised.
Speaking of which, did you see Matt Riddle dressed up as The Rock?
Yeah, I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah,
it's tremendous.
Damian Priest, I didn't recognize.
Tremendous.
I thought Priest was Fred Armisen.
Yeah, and Rhea looked good with the turtleneck on.
I was gonna say I liked Rhea's pictures too.
Yeah. So this one, it is what it is. To me, it's a time filler.
If that's not on the pre-show.
Yeah. But there you go. You get everybody on the card, so everybody gets a payday.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, next match.
All right, so we'll go to the first championship match. We'll go Damian Priest as the U.S. champion versus Shinsuke Nakamura as Intercontinental champion.
Two different trajectories. One's going up and one's coming down.
Nakamura has only defended the Intercontinental title one time since he's won it.
Yep.
That sounds familiar. Like his last title run with the IC title.
Yep. And it's the same thing they did with Apollo Crews whenever he had the IC title before.
And rumors saying that he wants to go back to Japan.
What are we doing with the Intercontinental title?
They go in waves with it. Once a year,
when's the last time that belt's been relevant?
The Miz.
2 years ago?
The Miz might have been.
Outside that with the Miz. Mm-hmm.
That was 2019, right? 2018, 2019 was his run with the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, because his last one. Anybody, I don't even remember who all's been champion this year, but
Big E and Apollo Crews.
Last year sure didn't matter. So yeah.
So that belt has been irrelevant for 2 years.
Yep.
And that was at certain points in time that was the belt, bigger than the world championship.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have we had this conversation over the years, though?
I know it's infuriating.
I agree.
So then, if you're not going to use it, you're not going to have people defend it, and it's not going to be to build up new stars and give people a springboard into the main event picture. Then why even have the damn belt on the show?
Why do you have two mid-card belts?
Put it on Corbin.
Because you have two brands.
It's after hours, so it's legit. I'll go with Damian Priest for this one. Like you said, Jay, I think Priest is in line for a big push.
Yeah, I want my heart. I want Shinsuke, but
I don't like. I don't like the character that he's been working lately. Like, I didn't think he needed to change up his character at all.
Priest?
Yeah, Priest. And to me, it's like turned me off from him.
I liked it, like him and the Dijakovic feud.
Yeah, but like with with him
yeah.
snapping and doing the I don't know, it just give me the cool collective kind of.
Yeah, that's not my. It's not the Priest I want. I don't want Priest any.
But yeah, I'll go with Damian Priest because, like I said, I think he's going to be in line for a bigger push here sooner rather than later.
and I don't know why.
So I said it before. Everybody loves him backstage.
They do.
So, yep.
I don't get it at all.
Donald, who you got?
He doesn't care.
You got Priest on one side who I can't stand. You got Boogs on the other side who I can't stand.
You can't stand Boogs?
Man, I can't stand that dude. I never liked that man.
Pat McAfee will come through the computer and slap you in the mouth.
And I'll slap him back.
Did you watch Tribute to the Troops?
No, I didn't watch that.
No, you didn't?
No. I told you the only thing WWE I watch is
talking to Steve.
I'm about to say I just watched Roman, so no, I could care less about this match.
No, I decided to kill myself in other ways and watch the Steelers-Lions game, so it was worse.
It was actually good. It was like good three. It was a good 3 matches. So Shinsuke fought Roman, and then Roman comes out and he's talking. He's barking at McAfee. And he's like, whose side you on while Shinsuke's music hits? He's like, whose side you on? Mine.
I saw the clip. I saw the clip of Pat. Yeah.
He's dancing like he can't see me.
Yeah. Yeah. That I did see that on social media. That was tremendous. How about McAfee with the damn sword tonight? Like, take it out of Drew's hands and let Pat carry it down to the commentating table because that was tremendous.
You can get rid of the sword too.
So I think we. So I got Priest. Donald doesn't care. That's awesome. Way to make the show more interesting. Chris, what do you got?
I'll agree. I want Nakamura, but I have a feeling Priest is going to win.
So we'll say that's 4.
Hey, what do we got next?
All right, we'll go into the tag team match. Randy Orton Riddle as the Raw Tag Champs versus the Usos being the SmackDown Tag Champs. And just a little note for this one. Right now, Randy Orton and Kane have been tied for 176 pay-per-views. This one will be Randy Orton's 177, so he will lead most pay-per-view appearances in WWE.
Yep, and on Monday night, if he wrestles on Monday night, he will have wrestled more matches than anybody else on Monday Night Raw.
Well, that's probably going to happen,
So back-to-back nights, chances for Randy Orton to break records. I mean, it's 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think about it like that, but really it's been 20 years. So, like,
this is the one I took issue with, the match, because they literally did nothing.
They did absolutely nothing.
They just had that tag match or the 6-man.
This to me has potential to be, I don't want to say match of the night because, it's rare a WWE tag team match steals the show, but I think this
Usos are involved.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Usos are involved. I really like. I love Riddle. Riddle can go in the ring. Like, I have no problem with Riddle's in-ring work. Am I kind of over him and Orton with the Felix and Oscar odd couple back and forth type stuff? Like, I'm kind of past it. I'm over it. I'm ready to see what the next iteration of it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think these 4 will go in and have a really solid match. But I'm going to go with the Usos here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Usos.
I'll be different. For Orton, I'll go with Orton Riddle.
The only people from the bloodline to lose are the Usos. So Riddle and Orton will win.
You have a point.
All right, we'll go into our first Raw versus SmackDown Survivor Series match. We got Team Raw, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Queen Zelina versus Team SmackDown of Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi, Natalya, and Toni Storm.
For these for the SmackDown matches, are we going to pick what team's going to win and who's going to be the survivors? Want to go with it that way?
If you like,
different flair to it instead of just picking what team's going to win. I'm upset that they, you have your you have Rhea, but you don't have Nikki ASH on this team. Like, how do you split up the tag team champs and have only one and not the other? But I guess it's a little nitpicky there. I'm gonna go with Team Raw for this one. I think SmackDown's team is more combustible as far as will they be able to coexist. I see, Shotzi and Sasha canceling each other out. Natty's, even though Natty deserves better, she's a pro's pro, but she'll be out pretty early. Shayna, I think, will probably be the one to get. Well, if I was booking this, I would have Shayna get the eliminations. Tony, who knows what Tony's going to be because Tony hasn't even wrestled on SmackDown and she debuted back in July. So yeah, I'm going to go Team Raw and I'll have Liv, Rhea, and Bianca as the survivors.
On paper, I'd say SmackDown. Theoretically, I'll go Raw. And I'll go Bianca and Liv standing.
I think I'm going to go Team SmackDown with Sasha and Shayna standing.
I'm gonna go with Team SmackDown and Baszler, the only one standing.
Soul
to
Survivor.
me, if you're going with Liv versus Becky, you're gonna have to have Liv be one of the people that survives the match.
That was my thinking.
To give her more credibility. I'm super pumped that they are going with Liv and Becky, and I hope they actually do it and give Liv a real shot. Because I'm excited to see what she'll be able to do in an actual featured program, and see if she's ready to actually deliver. So yeah, I think to keep her strong and to have her carry momentum into a feud with Becky, you have her be on the winning surviving team.
So you have 4 there, 4 new. Liv's not new, but you have Liv, Aaliyah, Shotzi, and Tony. Do you see them using them? Do you see them using them anytime soon? As something important?
So I think Sasha and Shotzi are obviously going to go in the program here, which kind of that's kind of confusing because then who do you have for Charlotte? Especially if you're doing a New Year's Day pay-per-view and then the Rumble, who are you going to build up over the next 6 weeks to have Charlotte face at New Year's Day or day one, as they're calling it?
Do you have her and Tony feud?
Unless they have a time.
Hey, listen, I wouldn't be mad at that. I loved what Tony did on her promo tonight. I thought it was one of the highlights of the show, and it instantly got me there because she played mind games with the Queen and used what she knew was going to happen to her advantage to get a match. Granted, it's not a title match yet.
Yeah,
I think it'll lead to a title match, but
number 1 contenders.
So stupid. But no, she cut a promo and she touched on everything that's been going on in around the scope of it.
Yeah. Saying
Charlotte's difficult, doesn't want to play well with others in the sandbox, this, that, and the other, the whole 9 yards. Cut a hell of a promo. So yeah, I wouldn't be mad at seeing Tony and Charlotte go at it because Tony can go in the ring.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that. Everybody good with this match here?
Yep.
All right.
Let's go on to the next one. Team Raw: Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory versus Team SmackDown of Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, King Woods, Happy Corbin, and Sheamus.
So Sheamus got added in tonight. Team Raw has the way stronger team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Looking at the lineup here, Seth Rollins is over 3 in the last 3 Survivor Series teams that he's captained, and he's alternated brands in each of those. So he's now back on the Raw brand. So if you're going with trends and you're a betting man, I would say put your money on SmackDown to be victorious here and come out as the surviving team.
Maybe Seth's due.
I don't know. Again, Team Raw, you're more focused on storylines with individuals that are on the team, like Kevin and Seth. They've been working that. Finn's kind of just floating out there, really hasn't done much since he's been moved over to Raw. Lashley has taken out the Mysterios the last 2 weeks, and Austin Theory is taking selfies with everybody. So, yeah, I obviously they see something in Theory because they put him in this spot, and give him a chance to show something here. But we'll see how that plays out. On the SmackDown side of things, this is just a terrible 5-man team. Like, I don't even know what to say about this team. And I don't know if this is more indicative of what the SmackDown roster looks like. Yeah, I'm going to go Raw again, which I can't believe I just picked Raw for both Survivor Series teams to win. Actually, no, I'll flip this. I'm going to go Team SmackDown with the win, and then we're going to have Drew standing tall by himself as the lone survivor as he takes out all 5 members of Team Raw.
We can't keep agreeing like this. To me, Raw has that combustible element, and that's what's going to be their downfall. And yeah, McIntyre's going to be the last one standing. He's not going to take all 5 for me. But yeah, I think it comes down to him and Lashley.
Similar, but I'm going to throw a twist on it. Team SmackDown. So I'm going to do Drew and Sheamus being the last 2 remaining. They'll fight to have a number 1 contender match to who takes on Roman next.
I'm going to go with Team Raw, and I'm going to have Seth, Kevin, and Austin Theory as the survivors. We can take a big selfie at the end.
And you just booked the finish for this match. What's actually going to happen?
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
All right, what's next?
Moving on. We got Big E versus Roman Reigns.
All right, so we touched on this already, right? Not too much else to cover as far as background and what we feel leading into the match. I do think it's going to be a good match. Obviously, if you listen to the show, you know how I've been a Roman Reigns stan on this title run since, back whenever he first won it 464 days ago or 446 days ago, whatever the hell the number was they threw out on SmackDown tonight. So I think Roman will win. It won't be a clean finish. There'll be shenanigans involved to keep Big E looking strong. But I'll go Roman with the win. And then The Rock's music hits. And he walks out on the stage, raises the eyebrow, turns around and leaves. And we're off and running to WrestleMania.
Why did you put that element? Because I was going to go Big E just because it's not a title match, and then you just had to throw that extra cameo.
Sprinkle it out there. Fantasy booking 101. It's not going to happen. The Rock has 17 movies lined up between now and WrestleMania. He's not showing up on Sunday. So everybody that is clamoring for The Rock to show up on Sunday, it's not going to happen. But however, if you smell music hits and he just walks out and raises the eyebrow at Roman and then turns around and walks right back out and they fade to black,
you just made the review.
I'm all for it. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
I'm gonna stick with Big E just because it's not a title match. Maybe Cove cost him the match.
Kofi's legitimately hurt.
He's legit hurt? Okay.
Yeah, I believe it is a legit knee injury. So, Donald,
if the Rock if the Rock actually shows up, I'll be surprised. And if he is scheduled for the show, this match is going on as the main event. They're not going to have the Rock come out at the end, then still go on. So,
listen, even with the Rock, even with the Rock not being there, this will be the main event. I'll be shocked if they don't have this as the main event because that's what WWE does.
Yeah.
If you have this same card and it's an AEW's on it, Becky and Charlotte are going on last.
Roman's winning.
Yeah. Who's the only member from the bloodline who always win? Roman Reigns. Roman's not losing ever until he loses the title. But I'll go with Steve. I'll say the Rock's music hits, but Roman planned it, and he'll laugh it off and fade to black.
Okay. I enjoy that twist. Donald's booking the show, apparently.
We don't care about the show. It's easy.
In the main event, Becky Lynch, the Raw Women's Champion, versus Charlotte Flair, the SmackDown Women's Champion.
Obviously, if you're not living under a rock, you know what's going on between these two. Legit beef. Hopefully, they either got in a room and had to sit down with Vince or somebody to get them like, listen, hey, put it all aside, or hey, I'm gonna close the door and give you 10 minutes. Have at it, throw punches, do whatever he's got to do. But once this door opens, it's over with, it's squashed with. We're gonna go out here and we're gonna make a shit ton of money because there is a shit ton of money left on the table with this. And they showed it in the promo package tonight that they played for it. Again, really done really well. But it's a real life friendship that ended because both women want to be the best, and one thinks she's superior to the rest, and the other one, scratch clawed, changed her persona up, had bigger moments, and Becky is definitely the baby face. So here's my thing with this, right? This is where the confusion comes in again, but we don't put logic on anything WWE does, right? Becky came back as a heel, right? She's been trying her damnness to get over as a heel. Having all this happen with Charlotte does nothing but elevate her more as a babyface.
Yeah.
True.
She is going to get a stone cold babyface pop reaction when her music hits.
Yeah.
And it's all because the other woman on the other side of the ring from her. So after this, how the hell do you go back to her being a heel on Monday night?
Change her music for one.
I think it's just because Charlotte. Like if it wasn't Charlotte, you would like she didn't cut a babyface promo. You just had people that hate Charlotte so much and love Becky that you're going to get that moment.
But that's what I'm saying. So even though it was hard enough for her to get being a heel over because how much people love her. It was the same way when Stone Cold turned heel. Mm-hmm. People didn't want to boo Stone Cold because they loved him so much. Becky with the fans is not saying that she's Stone Cold, but with that type of connection and people behind her, like they're not going to boo her. It's just not going to happen no matter how hard she tries. So like all you're doing is further cementing people loving and cheering her. So if she comes out, on Monday Night Raw and talks shit about beating Charlotte and then tries to cut, a heel promo on Liv Morgan, like it's not going to work.
Do you think Hugger Bailey would change that?
No, to me, I think Bailey is so far from that character.
Yeah.
Not saying that she can't be a babyface again, but she is so far removed from that.
Yeah.
That like babyface Bailey would have a completely different look and feel to her than the Hugger Bailey babyface. Just because of the trajectory that she went with the heel. She was the best. She carried the company during the pandemic. You can argue as being the face of everything.
Yeah.
It was some of her best work that she's done in her career.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even think that would garner Becky getting boos.
Is there anybody face wise that you can see that would get the fans to turn?
The only one that I think would have the potential for it would be Sasha, just because of Sasha's fan base is just as rabid about Sasha as Becky's is about Becky.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Sasha stands on one side, Becky stands on the other. We saw that before with them.
Yeah.
So to me, that would be the only one that's on the rosters right now that could do it. Because it's not working. It wasn't working with Bianca, and you ran that for as long as you ran it. So you got to move away from it.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, maybe if they try building up somebody,
That's why I said. That's why I said I'm excited for
build
Liv.
up though for Becky.
Liv is the only one that has the potential to be built up right now to be as far as the babyface heel dynamic that the fans are really behind. I just don't think the fans are behind Liv enough to have them full boo Becky as a traditional heel.
No, not at all.
So, but yeah, this is my match. If I'm booking this show, this is my main event. And then, whatever happens, I don't know, but there got to be a way that you can make this not drag out till Mania, but leave it on the table to where you can circle back around to it and get to Mania. Because, like I said, you're trying to sell out J World 2 nights in a row at 100,000 people a pop both nights. To me, looking at the rosters as they are today, November 19th, 2021, Charlotte and Becky would be a main event night 1 or night 2 of Mania.
I agree.
So, with that, I'm going with Becky. I won't say it'll be 100% clean finish, and I hope we don't get too dusty finishes, smosh finishes between her and Charlotte and Biggie and Roman, because then that would just really tank the pay-per-view even more.
Yeah.
But I'll go with Becky.
I'll go Charlotte. Make her tap. Figure 4. Figure 8.
I'm not sure how it's going to end, but I'm going Charlotte.
I'm going to go with a double DQ. If they really want to, if they really want to draw this out to Mania and that stuff, and both of them want to be the best, they play off some of that heat and double DQ each other.
Then they can't go. Then they're not main eventing.
Yeah.
If you pull that.
What if
who did that? There was that match where Charlotte was in. Who'd she face? And they did that, and it just like that did not go over well.
Was it Ronda when she snapped?
Aha! See, since you brought up Ronda, what if Ronda, jumps the barricade, whoops both their asses, you don't get a finish, and then that leads back to a rematch triple threat at Rumble.
I don't know if she'd be ready to come back yet.
Who?
I know she's not ready to come back. Yeah. That's complete fantasy booking on my head.
I know when Jason was talking about who could get Becky over, she popped in my mind, but I was like, she's not even close to being ready yet.
Yeah, no. Get her over.
But that would be a way. That would be a way to not have a finish to where you could get the match back at Mania, because Ronda came out, took them both out.
And she just could disappear.
35 rematch.
Do you think Bliss can get it? Can get her to go full heel?
Well, see, I have no idea how they're going to bring Bliss back, and I've been trying to think of what she's going to be character-wise.
Yeah,
and I can't. Not saying that I can't see it because she could have the potential to do it for Becky, but I just don't know. I just don't know how she comes back or how long they're going to keep her off because I think they're going to have to leave her off for a while before you bring her back, given all the stuff with the Fiend, to have that completely be out of sight, out of mind with people.
Yeah, that's true.
Can Asuka do it?
No, but I would love to see Asuka come in and take them both out.
Yeah.
And just scream the way she screams and holds up both belts. Like, Yins are laughing, but no, just because
we love Asuka doing that.
Yeah, that's a really good. But no, that's a really good call.
I don't know if it's good, but it's a call.
But that's a way to get.
But she's been out of sight for how long,
Yeah,
unless you follow her on Instagram. So
it doesn't make sense for her to go after both of them either. I'm not even sure where she's at. I don't know if she's still Raw, if she's on SmackDown.
I mean, technically, if you're a free agent, you can go after.
You can go after anybody.
Yeah.
The perfect way for her to go after both women is because they both think they're the best in the division. And Yins are only talking about each other.
They both are the best. That's why there's 2 belts.
You change your name to PC Dawn.
It's not my fault.
So I don't know. I have no idea how they're gonna book the finish to this. I will be watching intently to see whether or not we get work or we get work shoot or we get shoot. Brother.
You guys let me know how it goes. I'll be watching the Steeler game.
I'm not watching that shit after I watched last Sunday.
You guys let me know how it goes just because I'm not tuning in live for this shit.
I guess I'm pulling double duty.
All right, I got Charlotte. Or I got Becky.
I got Charlotte.
Charlotte, Donald.
Double DQ.
Double DQ.
All right. Match of the night.
I'm gonna
go, Jason.
I want stipulations with Charlotte and Becky. Like, give me some kendo sticks, because that's all they use.
They can't go through a table.
Whenever the Usos are involved, I always say Usos. So I'll do Usos, Riddle, and Orton.
I hope Becky and Charlotte is match of the night. We'll see.
I'll go Roman Big E. As Big E likes to say, it'll be 2 big meaty men slapping meat. There's an After Dark plug for you. Jay?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Charlotte Becky.
All right. Well, that's the breakdown for Survivor Series on Sunday. We'll be derelict of duty if we don't mention this, and obviously everybody and their mother's been covering it the last 24 hours. But another round of cuts from the WWE came out yesterday. I believe Wrestle Inc. did have a leaked screenshot of the email that was sent around from John Laurinaitis, and it does indeed say budget cuts. Due to budget cuts, the following individuals have been released, and it, rattled off the names.
They could just use the same copy and paste format from the past 20 years.
Well, this completely blindsided people because there weren't supposed to be any more cuts after the round of 18 2 weeks ago. Xavier Woods was doing some gaming show or whatever live, and he saw it come across on his phone and got up and walked off while they were in the middle of the segment. So it definitely caught people by surprise.
It happened with Adam Cole at one time. Was that whenever
whenever
Calabrese got released?
Yeah, he was doing his Twitch.
Yeah,
he was doing his Twitch. So yeah, I mean, if you look at the names that are released, I think the biggest thing, well, at least my takeaway from the biggest thing is that, and this ties back into the group of 18 that were released as well, but you draft people up to the main roster in a draft. These people are named, they're promoted, and everything else, and then all of a sudden, you don't see them at all, and then they're released.
Uh-huh.
Now, there was, in Hit Row's case, and I brought this up on the show, saying that Vince was very high on Top Dollar, and that he wanted to make him the star of the group, and Shane and Adonis would be the tag team. But there was rumors and reports coming out today that Top Dollar had a lot of heat backstage, which I don't know how you have that much heat backstage because you just got called up, but apparently he had the same amount of heat in NXT. I'll take that with a grain of salt because we also heard that Keith Lee had heat backstage and Karrion Kross had heat backstage. So, like, I don't know if that's WWE painting the narrative as to why these people got released because they had heat backstage when in actuality there was nobody had heat backstage. But for whatever reason, you're calling up people and promoting people and have people on these rosters that you're going to do something with, and then all of a sudden you're releasing all of them.
Uh-huh.
It makes zero sense. And I threw up a Twitter poll yesterday. Said, with 80 cuts, around 80 cuts for the year, is WWE still looked upon as a company that people want to go work for, to be the be all end all? We've had this conversation on the podcast before, and the vote was split 50-50 on Twitter. So 50% said no, 50% said yes. So, and I think for us, it was viewed kind of the same way where it was split.
Yeah.
Somebody said they're at, I don't know if this is official, but somebody said they're still at 260 people signed with 7 hours of main TV.
That's a lot.
I mean, counting NXT talent, I could see that. I think right now, whenever I checked, you're looking at 30-some talent on SmackDown, 40-ish some on Raw. So, plus take into account all the people they have signed to developmental.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how many that is, but I know they usually stack that up pretty high.
So the other thing that goes into this, as far as releases goes and that, but the rumor is that with developmental deals now, you're kind of going to be on like a 6-month clock. They don't want people in developmental for 3, 4, 5 years. So it's 6 months. If you're not doing nothing, you're not on TV, we got nothing for you. Thanks for coming.
Damn. And then they want all these people who are like athletes and stuff who are green.
So if you want to sign with WWE to a developmental deal, you want to pick up, bet on yourself, uproot your life from wherever you're at, move to Orlando, look for an apartment, whatever the case may be, everything. Sign a developmental deal which will pay X amount of dollars, and then 6 months later, just because either they haven't used you, you haven't found the right character, whatever the case may be, they can just say, all right, thanks for coming, see you, bye. Like, there's betting on yourself, and then there's being like, taking unnecessary risks.
I think there should be a happy medium between the two,
especially if you're super green, like who they're going after.
Yeah, like
they're coming in to learn the wrestling business,
Right. If somebody that's you got like Parker Boudreaux, who was a football player, didn't wrestle at all, comes in, and in 6 months it's not working for him, you're gonna just say, all right, thanks for coming. Like, is that enough time for anybody that's as green as the people that they're going to have? I could see if they were hiring indie talent like they did 3 years ago, whenever they hoarded all the indie talent and was signing everybody and their mother that had a name. Well, okay, in 6 months, if that's not working, then all right, I could see that. But if you're putting that type of mandate, and again, it's rumor and innuendo, so it may not be the case. But I feel like every 6 months you're going to hear people being released.
And that's possible, but I mean, especially down there, they might sit there and the evaluation might be different too. It might not be, we don't see anything in you. If there's nothing, then I could see getting released. If they're still green, they need work. Maybe they'll keep them on. We'll see.
So I don't know. I think to me, obviously, out of the names that were released, Hit Row was the one that was super confusing to me.
How you don't see money in Swerve?
He's not the build of a WWE superstar and the look that they want moving forward. They're back to big time wrestlers, which is why they wanted Top Dollar to be the guy, because of his size. Swerve is a bona fide star in any company he walks into.
Pro wrestling is not cookie cutter, and they need to stop doing this shit. And if you don't see, and I'm not saying he was future WWE champion material, but I'm saying there was money to be had for him, whether it be tag team championship or mid card championship, United States or Intercontinental.
Yeah,
there's money in him. If you didn't see him wrestle in the past, whether it be NXT, MLW, or any indie scene, and didn't see money in him, that's.
Well, you here into to ante up on your Swerve, but you have John Morrison, who comes in back to the company, arguably on the hottest run of his career, winning Impact World Championship title, being one of the longest reigning AAA champions. I mean, carrying heavyweight titles in every promotion he wrestled in, comes in with a ton of momentum, and you just stick him with the Miz again. Comedy act, this and that, hasn't been seen on TV. What? How many months? Works main event here and there, and then is released.
He was on every week.
Well, it was him and the Miz.
He was on recently. He was just always doing a segment, finding his he's finding his something.
I mean, they should have. Miz and Morrison should never even been brought to Raw together. That should have been a feud that ended over on SmackDown.
They shouldn't have
had the build up.
They shouldn't even put them together in the first place.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
That should have been your feud.
Exactly. They should have feuded together. Yes.
Exactly. He was by far the biggest waste of a talent.
Yeah.
From the people that got released this round.
What, his only big moment is getting thrown out in the Rumble by Brock Lesnar?
No. Getting eaten by zombies and surviving is his biggest moment.
Correct.
And working the words moist and dripstick into the American vocabulary on a regular basis.
I did enjoy that.
But again, another couple, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Taya and him. Did you see her tweets?
Yes. I did.
Yeah. And rightfully so.
Fuck them.
It's very true.
But I mean, really, how can you look at it as a company that cares about their talent? To me, it's we talked about this whenever the wave of last wrestlers got released, that they are a multi-billion-dollar corporation that are only going to do what they need to do in order to show profits and be attractive to shareholders and investors.
I just wish I knew their bottom line, where this is the stopping point.
There is no stopping point.
I don't think they know right now. I don't think there is a mark that they're trying to reach. I think it's a day-to-day evaluation. The first thing that popped into mind was that the Dark Knight line. You either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Because this company, to me, just represents WCW top to bottom these days. Like, all it is a corporate-run wrestling promotion now. It's going to get worse. This is the future of the company. It's not going to get better. Just going to keep doing this. And it is just whatever the basis from the top down at corporate headquarters is going to affect all the talent on TV. It shouldn't be that way.
There is no bottom line for a corporation.
Yeah.
The more money you can make, the lower they'll go.
This goes back to, we constantly sit there and say that Raw should go back to being a 2-hour program. It's not entertaining. Nick Khan does an interview a few months back. He goes, if USA throws money, I'll make Raw a 4-hour program. They don't care. It is not about making entertaining TV anymore. They are there for content creation only, not to entertain us.
I will tell you that Tribute to the Truth was like a breath of fresh air. 1 hour, 3 good matches.
And that's the formula that Rampage does every single Friday, and it's arguably the best show of the week every single week, because it's that 1 hour quick hitter, 3 matches. You sprinkle in an interview, you move a storyline along, and then you go on to the next week. So
Steve,
yeah,
you brought up that they're trying to get this talent to have a certain look and everything. That's just going to continue their downfall. To me, it's not going to add anything. It's just going to keep.
And it's fun. It's funny that you bring up the certain look. Like Xia Li got brought up to SmackDown, but yet what I saw tonight from her vignette and everything else, to me, that's a character that should be on NXT 2.0.
I agree.
Yeah,
they took it this week,
definitely.
And don't get me wrong, I liked what they did this week with her. I like the comic, the anime feel. Like I like that. I think that has some interest and some legs where you can do different things with it. Like I enjoyed it. I'm like, okay, like let's see what you do with it. But then like the whole package at the end and how it went off, and I'm like, NXT 2.0 should pop up on my screen right now, because that's
what the feeling, yeah.
So, but on the flip side of that coin, if this is where the main roster is going to go, because you have all these characters in NXT, so eventually when these characters come up, you're going to have them filter into the main roster. So, like, is this a sample run for that type of character on the main roster, where it's like a true character, not a la Duke the Dumpster Drosy or Doink the Clown, but it's in that vein, in that lane, to try to see what type of traction they get with it. So I don't know, man.
One of the things that you guys always bring up, especially Steve, is that there's so many repetitive feuds that go on and on. Same matches go on in Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
They've released a lot of talent this year. To me, I don't see that changing. I see in the future more of the same. Same repetitive matches over and over again.
And you brought it up. If your Raw roster is 40 people in a 3-hour span, how many people are on that show? How many people are in multiple segments, and how many people are wrestling the same people each week? So you have 20 guys and girls sitting around not doing anything? So it's like, if you're going to have 30 to 40 people on Raw, which is a decent number because it is a 3-hour show, like, you should be rotating them 30, 40 in, weekly, every other week. Like, I shouldn't be seeing the same 15 people over the course of 3 hours each and every single week.
Yeah.
AEW has according to some, AEW has a huge bloated roster right now, but yet when you look at like who they rotate in and out and matchups and everything else, like, unless it's a specific storyline scenario where like you had MJF and Jericho, or Jericho and Orange Cassidy, but like you don't see a whole lot of rematches in AEW. you know, guys are getting rotated in and out constantly. So like,
and people ain't on all the time. Yeah.
So they can do it. It's just they're choosing not to do it.
From a
Would Raw be more
standout,
entertaining if you had that shuffle and everything else? Like, I'm not going to say that would be the cure of it, but yeah, the wash, rinse, repeat, rematch formula that they do is definitely soured a lot of people, especially whenever they've had some of their lowest ratings per hour wise and total viewership wise for Raw over the past month, 2 months in the history of Raw.
Yeah. Something else I was just thinking of, just to bring up more to Jason's point earlier, asking what the bottom line is for them to stop at. WWE runs on a calendar year, so their fiscal year will be ending in December. I think there's definitely potential that we might see more releases next month as it gets closer to the end of the year.
To tout up those fourth quarter earnings whenever they have the call in the beginning of the year?
Yeah, not just fourth quarter, but end of year. Whatever gets them their bonuses, they'll do whatever they have to do to get that. So this might not be the last time we discuss this for the year.
To me, there's a bigger chess piece being played here that none of us know yet.
Yeah,
is my feeling, my gut feeling, and I don't think it's a chess piece that when it's played is necessarily going to be for the positive, for the direction of the company. So,
yeah, I don't think
we'll see.
Give you an argument on that at all.
Could it be that mouse guy down in Orlando?
That's my hunch. I brought that up a few weeks ago. That's what I think. It could be
Mr.
It could be
Mouse.
other animal.
Is that in the South Park, Mr. Mouse?
Mr.
If that's the case, yeah, you're gonna have to quit with the bitches and everything else that they've been saying lately.
Yeah,
because the mouse won't go for that. And for those of you guys that don't know the mouse, we're talking about Disney.
Them or the peacock. I think that's the two.
That would be terrible.
Those are the front runners to me, at least.
If it is
NBC
Universal, I
wouldn't count out Fox just because of how much money they ponied up just to get SmackDown.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't that be part of why they sold 20th Century to Disney, though? I mean, do you really expect them to add to the brand when all they were looking for WWE was content?
Well, if you get all of WWE, that's a shitload of content, especially if you're trying to supplement and start off like getting more people onto your streaming service.
I'm not going to completely take it out of the equation, but I think just because of what they did with selling off 20th Century to Disney, I don't know if that's something that they'd be interested in. But there could be a whole new CEO tomorrow, which could completely change the landscape of the company.
Right.
So
yeah.
Right. All right. Anything else on the releases? Do you expect anybody to go anywhere? Are you looking forward to anybody going anywhere?
Did Drake Maverick pre-tape that?
I don't know, but that was the best.
Yeah.
That came
when I first watched it, I think
they found out yesterday too. They could have found out early in the day.
I think it was Rudo. I think it was Rudo Reels on Twitter, but they had the Maverick 5-minute short story thing, and they just had prepared was the only word that they had, like as if he had it in the can.
Yeah.
When it first started, I'm like, oh, he's best friends with EC3 and Strowman and them. They have the Free the Narrative thing. This is going to be him working into Free the Narrative 3, and it'll be his story and everything else. But hey, he wrote that, shot that, directed it himself, and it was one of the best release videos.
Oh yeah.
that we've seen, and there's been some good ones. People are definitely getting creative with it. I mean, we saw it with Mox. Mox had his stuff prepped, and as soon as midnight hit, after his thing was up, he put that out. That 3-minute
the next day.
Cross put his 50-second thing up. He's back to being Killer Cross. Was announced his
Malachi
first show.
Black did his thing too.
Malachi Black with his thing with Tommy,
Tommy.
Yeah, so Tommy and called himself Malachi. Yeah, like Ruby with her stuff. Like they're getting creative with it, and you see the ideas and the concept these people come up for themselves as to what their characters are, and it's good shit. Like I said, Drake Mavericks was fantastic. Yeah. Do I expect Drake Maverick to be a WWE champion? No, but like he was entertaining as shit in TNA as Rockstar Spud, and anything he said in a video, anything they gave him, he made it entertaining. There's a spot for that type of guy on your roster. We always say all the time, wrestling's like Baskin Robbins, it's 31 flavors. You don't gotta like everything, but there's gonna be something for everybody, right? Well, there's spots for people that are that creative. Like, I mean, look at Miro in AEW. Like, you couldn't have had that guy in WWE if you let him give input and some direction and some not creative control, but have some say so and work with the writers and everything else. Like,
they had the guy. We talked about this. They had him and Cena at Mania. That showed you everything you need to know about where to go with him.
And WWE did it before during the Attitude Era. They had all kind of people do different type of stuff.
So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know what John Morrison is going to go by. Maybe Johnny Elite, if he joins All Elite Dynamite. Wrestling. Johnny Dynamite, Johnny Rampage,
Johnny Honor.
Well, we don't know what Honor. It's going to be Honor 2.0 because it's the end of an era, so we don't know what's going to happen there. I'm trying to think what else.
Or he could go back to being Johnny Impact.
Johnny Empower for NWA, Johnny Fusion for MLW, Johnny Impact.
He was there, wasn't he? Wasn't he already in MLW for a little bit?
I don't know if he did a quick spot in MLW or not back whenever he was out doing his run.
No. I'd have to go back. I think he may have, but I could be wrong.
But yeah, I don't know. Hit Row, Tegan Knox. Yeah. You just wished her happy birthday 2 days ago on your WWE account.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Oh, you're released.
Your trash bag of stuff's going to be hitting your house soon for your birthday present.
Like the optics of it, it screams big corporation. Now, I've worked for a couple big time corporations, and it's exactly what you see when you're dealing with multi-billion-dollar corporations. So I brought this question up to you guys before. What will it take for you to stop watching the product? Chris, you're already there. Donald, you're getting close to being there. Jay, you said damn near nothing will make you stop watching the product. There's probably people that are out there just like you.
And I've said before, if you are entertained by this, keep watching it. But the thing that I kept thinking last night is, if you are somebody that isn't entertained by it, but you're just watching it to just go online and bitch and complain about it, what the fuck are you still watching it for? Just stop watching it. This is part of the problem, because you're still giving them money. You're still giving them ratings, even though they don't really care about the ratings anymore. Just stop. And maybe then things will change. But until people actually take a stand on the company, and I don't even know if things would change if people take a stand. But I think that might be the only thing that actually makes them look at themselves more and actually try, because they're not trying.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Before Sunday, if you guys watching, go out there, search for Becky Lynch's video, her interview she did with Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour MMA podcast, whatever he's calling his show nowadays on BT Sport. Excellent interview. Charlotte was on Get Up yesterday morning. You can search the clips for her there. Really good stuff. Ariel Helwani also has a really good interview with Paul Heyman. That's another really good one to watch. Heyman is tremendous in his mindset and the comparisons and everything that when he's talking about, AEW, and Ariel is asking him about AEW, and I think Heyman's answer, Jay, I think it would encompass how you feel about like AEW, the product, and I think if you go listen to that, Jay, take a listen and let me know what you think, if that's like kind of your wavelength and mindset to it. Because when he said his response, I immediately thought of you as being a WWE guy.
And who is this?
Ariel Helwani.
So he's interviewing Heyman.
Yeah,
he's interviewing Heyman.
Okay.
They had to sit down. Really good. Covered a lot of different things. Really good there with that. So a couple quick hitters from that. WWE in the news this week. Did anybody catch Roman on Fallon last night?
I did 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago.
On Fallon. They tried to do a little bit of the stuff with The Rock, and just Roman was pretty much in character most of the time. Towed the line. Was there to promote Survivor Series, but was towing the line of being the tribal chief. They did a skit on Colbert this week too. So it was like Big E, Becky Lynch, and a couple other people were all on there.
Yeah, Seth Rollins had a really nice reply to that, to Big E hanging out with his fiance / wife.
Seth was in it.
Baby's mama.
I think Street Profits were in it too.
So, all right.
So is this all for SummerSlam, or is this
for Survivor Series? Because Fallon and Colbert tape in New York, so it's at Barclays Center.
So,
yeah,
they were there to promote it.
Press run. Yeah. So, although it's not a Big Four pay-per-view, right? But they had the most press that they've had in a while.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted, maybe we'll start seeing that more often as we're coming out of the pandemic. You know what I mean? Like that'll get back to the norm, so to speak. But yeah. So, all right. That's it. Thanks for tuning in tonight. As always, follow us on social medias: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Email the show, dumbmarkspod@gmail.com. Head on over to our Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/dumbmarkspod. We got 2 new shirts added. Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Black Friday sale starts early. It starts Tuesday at 1 p.m., 20% off. Support the show, buy some merch. We'll give you a shout out live on the air. Anybody got anything else to add for the Survivor Series prediction show before we wrap up and get ready to come back on in less than 12 hours from now for our regularly scheduled program?
Send it home.
Nope, good. All right. Well, with that being said, thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. Appreciate the love and support. Keep interacting with the show. The more you comment with us, the more interactive it can be, the better it can be. Let us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. And until tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., I'm a Mark, you're a Mark, telemark. Until next time, y'all can catch us around the way.